Sneak me back here. And make me bigger. Slip me back. I'm going to be right there. Right there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. All right. All right. So we're just going to jump right in. And if you guys, I don't know. So I was talking for 5 minutes and I didn't have the live stream going. So shame on me. But I was talking about a contest. I'm a sucker for a drawing contest because you end up drawing things that you don't typically tell yourself you want to draw. So it's a challenge mentally to come up with something that somebody else thought of. So I got turned on to the Raw Observations podcast not too long ago, and the guy can really hype up some comics. He got me really excited. The Deadpool movie is coming. He created Deadpool, so he's all hyping that up. And so he talks about his Facebook page where they have art contests. And so I checked it out, and they have a new art contest this weekend for his character Avengelyne. And I was never a fan of Avengelyne when it came out. I was just not into the bad girl comic thing. But like I said, I'm a sucker for a contest. So what I did last night was brought out one of my handy dandy sketch covers, leftover reward from a hey, what's going on, Dave? Feel my pain. I appreciate you being here, Dave. So the contest gets the contest gets voted on Tuesday. I think he turned it in on Tuesday. You get to vote Tuesday, Wednesday. And so I thought it'd be fun to jump in on a drawing contest. And so I drew this last night. I'd sketched it out last night. I don't know much about her costume, and it looks like they don't either. She's got like a bazillion different costume iterations. So this is what we're going to work on tonight. If you guys tuned into one of the other draw streams, I just wanted to kind of update you on the Duke cover. I wasn't happy how it started turning out, so I did go back in, made his head shorter, made his shoulders broader. That makes me a little bit happier to finish that. So that will be eventually worked on. And then this was the Deadpool that you might have seen. I take off all this badging so you don't get distracted by the image, but the image is drawn on my Alpha Red comic sketchbooks. So I just want to use them, and if people like them and if they want to buy them, they get a free comic. So that's what we're kind of doing with the Avengelyne. Just a pretty girl with open midriff. The cleavage is very much there, but apparently she's a fallen angel. I'm not going to. I don't know if I'll be trying it out. It's unlikely. I hate to say never, but if it's some kind of God honoring thing, she is fighting for a God, I think, to try to get back into heaven. But yeah, so when I went to draw it, I always think of Jim Lee and Joe Madureira faces. Jim Lee women are kind of the most beautiful. let me see. Sorry, Dave. Let me jump in here and see what you're saying. Avengelyne is going to have a movie. Yeah, that's the big hype over at the. I think it's called the Rob Liefeld Marvel and Extreme fan page or something like that. So that's the big buzz over at that channel. And I'm gonna pull up to see if she has any gloves. I don't think she has any gloves. I don't think she has any gloves. Well, she wears a cross in between her cleavage. So I guess that's something going for her. Okay. If you're like me and you're Googling it, her outfits are very scant. And it's all over the map here. So I don't think I can get it too wrong if I just throw in some like long gloves. That looks like a thing. Giant sword sometimes not a giant sword. So women are hard to draw well in comics. At least I have found that it is.
Save money with the app.
How about you, Dave? Are you an artist? I don't remember if you're an artist or not. So women are hard to draw well. Yeah. So that was a wow with the Spawn stuff. I can't believe that he picked an AI thing, and then he didn't back down. He's like, AI is the future, you know. It's okay. And I was like, what, Todd, bro? But yeah, I guess some people embrace that that inevitability. They think it's inevitable, and I think they're mostly right. But I think just like anything else, people are going to crave the authentic, and so it's going to be harder and harder to prove the authenticity because the AI seems to be getting smarter, better, faster, whatever you want to say. Anything else can see? Yeah, looks like you can see. Great, Dave. What kind of artwork do you draw? Are you a superhero guy? Do you have your own comic? Very cool. Do you have the title? Maybe I don't know how to pull it up. I don't know how to share a screen and pull it up, and maybe give you a shout out on your indie comic. Do you have your own comic? I think I can. If you want me to, Dave, I think I can try to pull up. Let me see. I can add a browser. Okay. And I can pick. Let me see if I can pick something here. Let me see if I can just hit Facebook. And see. Copy. I appreciate you bearing with me, Dave. It's some guys make it look like super easy. And nope, that didn't work. Control Z. Can I Control Z that thing? I appreciate you bearing with me. Nope, it doesn't want to Control Z. Some guys make it like super. One of these days, Dave, I'm gonna be able to. Oh, it's showing this screen. No, that's not what I want. We're gonna take that away. Just gonna delete that thing, remove it. But yeah, let me know. Torn. That sounds cool. That reminds me of a play that my daughter and the ministry that she's working at, they do a skit called Torn, and it's just a very moving piece where a girl is torn between, after she meets Jesus. It's like a silent thing. They have music going, but it's like everybody's kind of not miming, but like it's just there's no talking. And the girl finds Jesus, but then she strays. She gets wooed by drugs and alcohol, fame and fortune, and then she wanders, and then she feels ashamed and all that stuff. But it's all done without any dialogue, and then Jesus comes to her rescue. Like, she tries to fight it off, tries to fight them off, and she can't. And then Jesus steps in, and Jesus gets beat up by these demons and stuff, and then he breaks free. It's like, I'm getting chills just talking about it, just because I've seen it 3 or 4 times, and man, it is powerful. But Torn, that's a great name. Is that the name of the main character, or is that like a theme? Is it a male character? Is it a team? It doesn't sound like a team. Is that the name of the main character, or is that Yeah, so if you haven't checked out the Rob Liefeld podcast and you're a fan of the 90s stuff, what a great, I don't know, it just brings back so many great memories, because he gives you like behind the scenes stuff that happened while he was riding high on the boom, the 90s boom. And a lot of the reason is that, they caused the boom just because they were young and brash and, cocky and arrogant. But I don't know what came first, like people's love for the comics and excitement, and then they just happened to be, the Image guys just happened to be in the right place at the right time, or if it was because Todd McFarlane and him and Jim Lee and those guys were caused that, what came first, chicken or the egg? Any thoughts on that, Dave? Are you still there? So sometimes I see her with this super broad sword. And sometimes I see her and she has a little teeny tiny sword. So who knows? I'm going to draw the big broadsword because it's that much more ridiculously heroic or comic bookish. You just can't. You don't need to explain it. It just has to look cool. Comics are a visual medium, so it's obviously great if you have a great story, but you got to get the person to pick up the comic, and that doesn't happen without some good visuals. I'm definitely gonna end this live stream at 6, just because my son and I are gonna, we have an engagement at 7, so we gotta eat dinner and bounce. So if you guys are out there, just say hi. who is your? Do you know who this is? Maybe you can't. You're coming in late, and you don't know who this character is. If you have any guesses as to who this character is. No, similar to the play you talked about roots nation as he battles between dark and light, only comic style. So he becomes the characters. Okay. Maybe you can expound on how he becomes the characters, like a quantum leap kind of Scott Bakula thing, where he doesn't look like himself, but he has a consciousness. He has his own consciousness. So what do you think here, Dave? Is it ready for inks? I don't want to go too crazy because I'm going to ink it myself, and I'm going to ink it right here. I don't want to spend too much time on this contest, even though I do like winning contests. Who doesn't like to win the contest? So you want to put your all into it. So Dave, did you get the comic books yet? I know I sent you the fulfillment. And that was what? Monday. So you should have gotten it by now. But I have not checked the tracking. All right, I think that's gonna be as good as it gets with the pencils, right? And we're gonna go for the inks. And if you didn't notice, I mean, this is as high tech as my art supplies go. You know, I do have. I mean, this is my little art bag here. And I do have a bunch of stuff in here, but most of them are just like number 2 pencils, HB soft number 2 pencils, so that we can do our Scantron tests. And then I do have one or two of those art pencils, but that's because my family thinks that I use art, like nice art stuff, so they'll buy me some stuff. And this is an H2. That's usually what I kind of lay stuff down with. But I'm going to jump in here with some Pigma microns. Like Hulk. Nice.
Use it in a sentence?
As you're sitting in your basement, you hit your vape.
Well, hopefully he has a redeeming story arc.
Which
one has a redeeming story arc?
Which she singles out because it's
Have you, how many issues do you have, Dave?
Formaldehyde. Vaping can expose you to toxic
What
chemicals
are all
like
my
formaldehyde.
microns?
No need to spell it out anymore. Brought to you by the Real Cost and FDA.
They're usually a little bit more organized, but after the last draw stream, I just threw everything in here and never reorganized. All right. Yes, even posted your page and others. That's right. Thank you, Dave, for reminding me. A couple people have let me know that they received it. So you got the Spidey meme. Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I tend to I don't know if I have said it here before, but I doodle while I'm on the phone with clients and with bosses and with the customer service people that I work with. And sometimes the conversations are long-winded, and I can only do so much work while I am on the phone with them, and so I have a drawing pad next to my desk on that yellow paper just for note-taking, and it ends up getting a lot of doodle time. Thank you for reminding me that you got it. So you were in Indiana, weren't you, Dave? You like to go to the races out there? Let me see. That's where the time years go. A lot less racing. Let's get back into pencil. Yeah, I tried the digital thing like right next to me. Like, if I look down over here, there's a giant screen, one of those screens that you can draw on. And I went cheap on it, and when I say cheap, it was like $450, $500. So not like cheap. And it was great for a while, and then it kind of glitched out on me. The colors weren't fantastic either, but I just couldn't get into drawing on the screen. I know that you can draw on like an iPad, and I do have Photoshop on the iPad, and I tried it a couple times, but there's a learning curve, and I'm an old man, and this old dog doesn't take lightly to new tricks. I do have Photoshop on the iPad, and I tried it a couple times, but there's a learning curve. So, yeah, when I think of attractively drawn superhero women, I think of Jim Lee first, and then Joe Madureira draws some attractive women too, but I think I'm just partial to his style. So he may or may not be better than some other. There's plenty of guys who draw beautiful women. Frank Cho comes to mind. But Jim Lee was the first for me. What's going on, Jose? Just in time for the inking. Nice. It was good chatting with you earlier, Jose. Yeah, the inking is not my favorite part, but it's I know I like a well inked picture, even though I really do enjoy seeing the pencils. It just it does feel like it's only part of the process. It's not the whole process. So Jose, you didn't miss much, because I was fumbling around with the camera again. So as an independent, Dave, as an independent Christian creator, what is your goal in creating Torn? Do you have a goal, or are you scratching an itch? Like for me, Alpha Red is really scratching an itch. I hate to say it that way. God lays it on your heart. He gives you this whatever, this affiliation or whatever, a proclivity to comic books. I really enjoy comic books. I love the medium. I love the storytelling. I love all these things about comic books, but they're not all morally whatever. Just I don't know. I can't buy them all, even though they look good. So my only option is to create something that I would be proud to share with my kids and with other people's kids. Marketing director by trade, so I get to be an artist all day. I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you, Dave. I am an insurance salesman by day, and it is mind-numbingly boring. So this stuff is definitely I'm right there with you. I'm right there. What I have more on my mind when I'm trying not to think of work. My mind drifts to comic books and creating pictures and Silvestri does great women. Yeah, for sure. All those, yeah, Silvestri. If you ever get a chance to listen to the Robservations, he talks about the image guys a lot, and Silvestri and Liefeld did not get along. Famously did not get along in the late 90s, early 2000s. But Rob Liefeld says that Silvestri is by far the best artist, best illustrator out of the image guys. And he says that Todd McFarlane says so. He says Jim Valentino said so. It's really interesting to hear the behind the scenes stuff. What Rob's take on a lot of this stuff. So if you have not checked out his podcast, it is entertaining and informative. It's really interesting to hear the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, Lee was the one who inspired me to want to draw. That is for sure. There was something about his artwork that was different than Todd McFarlane. I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about it, but McFarlane got me into comics, but Jim Lee definitely helped me to pick up the pen and pencil. So. So how many issues of Torn do you have, Dave? Okay, just don't want to miss anything. Hey, what's going on? Is that Mr. Churchio up there? So how many issues of Torn do you have, Dave? You have to hang on a second. Let me jump over here. Hey, what's going on? Is that radio? Okay. Mr. Churchio up there? Yeah, I don't want to miss anything. Yeah, I don't think I ever went back into Facebook to drop the link. So if any of you guys that are watching could jump on Facebook, if that's how you found out that I'm doing this live draw, this draw stream, if you can copy and paste the link into the Facebook. Is that you? Chuck, if you're SticksBoy73, let me know, because I think that's you, but I'm not 100% on that. Not 100%. We're able to sell our books pretty easily by simply letting the parents know that it's kid-friendly and there isn't stuff like that. They them to see. Yep, that's pretty much the market that I'm kind of going for. That's how we all got into comics when we were young and innocent, and there wasn't a lot of this direct market stuff. You know, I picked up my first comics at a drugstore, People's Drugs, and then I found out that they also sold them at the newsstand. So I would bike downtown to go to the newsstand to pick them up, and then once the local comic shops were the main thing, they were able to kind of go a little bit more PG-13, and then now rated R, and then there's just a lot of stuff out there now. that that I just would not share with my kids. Even the new Transformers comic, I love it. You know, it's got the story is great, the artwork is great, but I won't share it with my 16-year-old just because it has, not that it has swearing, but the violence is just a little much. And so I don't know how to juggle that. Like, should I not be enjoying that kind of stuff? Or, I don't know. See, we're able to sell. Yeah, so that's awesome. That's awesome to hear that you're sharing my comic with your kids. I'm actually headed down to a homeschool convention. Now, I'm doing a convention tomorrow. That's why I'm doing the draw stream right now. Is because I'm not going to be able to this weekend because I'm going to Toy Fest. So it's like part two to the convention that I did last month, because it's at the same venue, but it is not the same crowd. This is a toy show rather than a dedicated comic book show like the other one was. The other one was a little bit of celebrity and wrestling and stuff like that, and it had a huge Ninja Turtle theme. And this one is just toys, as far as I can see. And so we'll see if Alpha Red can make the same kind of impression he did a month ago, where, you know, I was standing in front of the table. I was not standing behind the table. And anybody who would come by would get just a promotional thing that I handed out, which I learned that I need a better promotional thing. So I did. Like, everybody now is going to get a trading card. So let me see if I have any trading cards handy right next to my desk here. I thought I was going to keep some handy, but I must have packed it in the box that it's going with me tomorrow. So that's why I'm doing this draw stream today and not Saturday, like that would typically be more convenient for me. So yeah, I'm going to take Alpha Red to a homeschool convention in 2 weeks, and we shall see if I can convince homeschool families to pick up issues of Alpha Red. Because I think there's a general feeling that comics have become inappropriate again. You know, they stopped using the comics code, and so it's kind of a free-for-all, and so it's not generally understood, at least for me. I don't assume that they're kid-friendly. See if I'm missing anything here. We're able to sell marks of Mark Silvestri pencil work. It's outstanding, yes, by itself. It's great study of line work and weight, and Jim Lee's vertical line work and cross hatching. Yep. Now they are. I think I discovered Mark Silvestri after the Image stuff. I know that he was on X-Men and he was on Wolverine, and I had some of his X-Men stuff. The Inferno stuff was amazing, and I had those Inferno books. Bought them off the shelf, the spinner racks, and really loved them. But for whatever reason, I didn't realize that different artists had different styles, and so as good as Mark Silvestri was, he didn't ignite that passion like I got after I found Jim Lee. So we are about 15 minutes away from the end of the live stream. So if you guys have any questions about about drawing, about creating independent comics, about faith, lay it on me. Lay it on me. If you guys have any questions about drawing, I don't mind. This is one of the only things that I can do that I can multitask, like while I'm even talking to clients and customers. They can be asking me the most complicated thing, and I can just sit here, and if they don't stop talking, they want to know more and more. I can talk insurance, and I can be drawing at the same time. I will be on a podcast next Saturday if you guys are interested. The Explanations is a YouTube channel that reviews Christian independent comics, and he has done some reviews on Alpha Red last year, and we stay connected. And so he started a podcast kind of thing on that, and we recorded that podcast on Tuesday, and he's going to edit it, and then he's going to air it on what is the 27th, the Saturday the 27th. So mark your calendars if you haven't found the Explanations YouTube channel. Xavier over there reviews Christian comic books. So I thought I would try it too. I do have a bunch of Christian comics that I support. Not only the guys from Starcross, but other companies. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Archangels. Way back in the 90s, there was a Christian comic book called Archangels. And I was looking for copies of that and found a forum that it was a fan page of it, and one of the co-creators was a part of that, and I just reached out to him and I said, hey, where can I get copies of the book? And he said, what's your phone number? Like, I'll call you. So we ended up chatting for about 2 or 3 hours. Not 2 or 3 hours. An hour and a half. A little over an hour. An hour and a half. Super cool guy. Scott Patrick? I forget what his name is. Just because when this camera turns on, I get all... my brain just escapes me. I am terrible. I'd be terrible on a game show. Like, I know a lot of stuff, but like, you put me under a time constraint, and terrible under pressure. Terrible. What do you guys think so far? Oh, you still have your Archangels. I tell you, Dave, if you reached out to Patrick Scott and let him know that you're creating a Christian comic, he loves to talk. The guy can chat it up for sure, and he will talk your ear off, telling you all the ins and outs of his adventures. He went through some adventures creating that thing. He talked to me about getting investors, and that's why there's no more Archangels, because too many hands in the pot, too many chefs in the kitchen, too many people who had financial pieces of it, and then egos came in, and big money people got burned. I don't know. It's hard to describe. the journey that he went on, but it was not did not sound like fun. And so his advice to me was, do not take on any investors. Just do it yourself. Do it for the glory of God. And if God wants it to happen, something big to happen with it, he's just going to make it happen. Because a lot of people had their hands all over archangels. And that is why it is no more. And he knows, he won't tell me, he wouldn't tell me who owns the rights, but he says because of people who feel entitled to the property, who have lots of money, they would make it very difficult financially for anybody to do new issues of archangels, because they would sue. I don't know if it's a he or she, but he said this person would likely sue for rights and royalties, and you would not be able to profit from your efforts, anybody's efforts at resurrecting that property. So maybe if I can figure out how to have guests on the channel, he would be willing to just come on and share his journey, because it sounded like a wild ride. Early 90s, can you imagine, like, while Image was going on, there was this Image looking Christian book, Christian comic that was selling in the hundreds of thousands. I mean, it wasn't selling in the millions like the Image guys, but all right, about 6 more minutes, guys. I appreciate you being here. Like I said, I have a date with my young son. We got a thing tonight. So in about 5 minutes or so, I'm just gonna call it quits. I appreciate you guys showing up. Any last minute questions? Yeah, he didn't. Well, they tried a game too. Yeah. If you ever, he's willing to tell you off the record about the game. So I don't want to tell you anything about the game, but he told me all about the game. And so, and that was kind of the undoing. That's kind of where a lot of things fell apart. I didn't realize that Focus on the Family was involved. They had supported that financially for a little bit. He didn't go into names, but he said, if he told me the names of the people who were invested in the book, that I would know them. So, but that's a shame. So I'm just going to heed his advice. Just keep doing Alpha Red the way that I'm doing it. And if God wants to bless it, then it'll just take off. How's it looking, guys? Did I mess up somewhere? A lot of times I don't see the mess up until like a day or two later. So definitely sit on your work for a while before you call it done. It's different when you're doing like mass production of stuff, like comics or like a commercial art, and you don't have the luxury of sitting on it forever. I was watching some Jim Lee doing some artwork. Actually, there was something on Facebook. I don't know if you guys follow Jim Lee on Facebook, but he was the video was a picture of Batman, and then he starts erasing, like it was an inked picture of Batman, and then he slowly goes in there with some white out and turns the picture of Batman into Superman. And you're like, what? Like, it happens before your very eyes, and you can't even believe that it just happened. Am I selling it? Absolutely. Everything's for sale. All this stuff. It all goes, the money goes back to, back into Alpha Red. So I will sell this for, I don't know, $40. If you like it, $40. Am I selling it? But don't send it yet, because I might mess it up right now. You're like, I don't want that thing. Like, cross her face there. So yeah, if you are interested, you can have this Avengelyne on Alpha Red sketch cover pencil edition. So I know a lot of you guys are finding me here recently, but like this version of it was a reward for one of my campaigns, and I did a pencil version with the sketch cover. So yeah, if you're crowdfunding, you try to make you try to get the most creative things to kind of get people to. Hang on a second. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna call it quits. I got a couple of irons in the fire, and I really appreciate you guys stopping in, and watching me draw. And I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. I'll jump on here again, and maybe I'll finish this up. I'll probably, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to make promises that I can't keep. So I appreciate you guys being here, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right? What do I do? I do grace and peace. See you guys. I got an outro video. Hang tight. Outro. Maybe I'll finish this up. I'll probably, I don't know. I don't want to make promises that I can't keep. Nope. No outro. See you guys later. Thanks for sticking around.